Hello, 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 everyone. I trust everyone is okay. And still summer, still hot, and trust everyone having a downtime. Please remember to like the video and share it, but definitely give it a like. And comment if you have something to say. Karen Cecilia here with the second of, I don't know what to call it, but we're looking at the second person. We have looked at Omar Newell in Central St. Mary, and today we want to look at another one in the same vein as Omar Newell, probably worst. No, there's no two way about it. He is worse than Omar Newell. And as I said before, and what I will open all of these with is the Jamaican voters have a history of voting for people who are going to make their life harder. The Jamaican voters just in that, I don't know if this will be the cycle where that will change, but Jamaican voters definitely have a knack for voting for people who are not only lesser than them, but people who are lesser in quality, people who are lesser in education, people who are lesser in terms of decency, people who are lesser in terms of behaving, according to how they should behave because they want to represent you. But the Jamaican people have proven more than, the voters have proven more than once, that sometimes they just do this without thinking about it. And then, immediately afterwards, they regret it when they discover that the person that they just elected is actually worse than the person that they just threw out and elect this person for. I mean, you hear it everywhere you go. It is just there. Just like how the people in Eastern Westmoreland said that they want back Luther, they might give back Luther a second chance, but then the pedophile insert himself down there, and I don't know how that will end. I know it will end one way or another, but I don't know how. So today we want to look at a despicable, disgusting, nasty fellow. And I do not exaggerate when I tell you that this fellow is disgusting and totally, nasty fellow. I do not exaggerate. Many of you will listen to this will come to the same conclusions that I have come regarding this fellow. The choice of representatives is one that voters have a history of wasting on people that only want power, not to represent people. And this guy, him is a cut above the rest when it comes to a disgusting person that the people should not even consider representing. So today we are talking about Central Kingston. And Central Kingston is a pivotal part of the Rise camp in terms of what they set out to do when they started their sabotage operation against the PNP and set themselves up to take control of the PNP. Central Kingston is on the list of those constituencies that they were going after to make sure that whoever the candidate is for Central Kingston would lose, and that would give them that seat to put in a Rice candidate as they see fit. And as I have told you before, the entire operation was based on that. Part of the plank of how they're going to take over the PNP is to make sure that some people lose good, strong PNP seats so that Bunting and Golding will have a chance to put in the person that they want in that seat, and therefore eventually the plan would give them enough members of parliament in the parliament and in the PNP that would keep them in power forever. And that's basically what the plan is, to have that kind of plan that nobody can throw them out. But they only have that kind of plan because they don't understand the nature of politics and the nature of the PNP. And they don't understand the nature of it. They don't. Believe me, they don't. And these Rice candidates were not selected because they have a resume of helping people. They were selected because it's a reward for the part that they played in ensuring that the PNP lose the 2020 elections. And therefore, we're going to look at Mr. Lawrence Rowe today. The people that they chose to put into strong PMP seats are people who have done enormous amount of work to help them. The role that they took on with enthusiasm and pride to betray the PMP and to betray their country and to let the PMP lose the 2020 elections. And Lawrence was one of those. Of course, I already told you this too. There's nowhere in history where traitors are rewarded. Nowhere in history where traitors are elevated to positions of power because they have been a good traitor. But the Rise United movement is one such movement that makes sure that the people who help them to sabotage and bring the PMP to where it's at now, their thing is to make sure that those people are rewarded. All right? And that's where Lawrence Rowe comes in. Mark Golding needs to win, as I said to you in the first video, 32 seats in order for him to become Prime Minister. He need at least a 16-seat turnaround to achieve that goal. And to win those, and it starts by pinpointing some constituencies that the PMP had before, and to get back those first, and then see what them can which is why they have been meticulous. They have placed people in various constituencies. The 3 Westmoreland seats, save for the exception of Dwayne Vaz, you have Ian Eales, and them send the pedophile down the east. And for him, case is not settled, I assure you of that. Then there is South St. James, where them send Bunting Side Chick, Nikisha Burchell, and there is Central St. Mary, where them send that disgusting fool, Omar Newell. And there is Central Kingston, where they elevated Lawrence Rowe from a riff-raff boy to potential member of parliament. But as the saying goes, you can put a butu into a Benz, it will always be a Benz, and the butu will always be a butu. So no matter how much decent clothes some people put on, no matter what position they hold, they will always be who they are because of who they are. And Lawrence Rowe will not be able to help Mark to win back Central Kingston, or to even help himself to become member of parliament in King Charles Parliament. And you can't even begin to imagine how some people in this country grieve. I mean, when people see some people hold them in and people say, Jesus Christ, don't tell me. You mean to say the King Charles Parliament going to have Lawrence Rowe and Dayton Campbell in a King Charles Parliament? Boy, voters would better think very carefully about this. Now, Central Kingston is a seat that was once held by our revered Michael Norman Manley, and of course the great Ralph Brown. There was also an ex-JLP member, Colonel Lloyd, who also held that seat, proved himself to be a good PMP after he changed from JLP. Then there was Ronnie Thwaites and Victor Cummins, and then Ronnie Thwaites again. And it was during the ending of Victor Cummins' first and only term as Member of Parliament that Lawrence Rowe became involved in the political work of Central Kingston. And I'm telling you, Lawrence Rowe is a nasty, disgusting, horrible person who have descended into hell to get what he wants. And he is so engrossed in hellish behavior that him can't come out of it. Him have to just stay there and play. That's where him have to play. Him can't come out of it. Him can't reinvent himself because people like Lawrence Rowe don't see reinvention as an option. They see reinvention as changing who they are, and they don't see it as a good thing. They don't see it as a good thing, and that's a small mind of a traitor. A traitor have to remain a traitor. His foray into Central Kingston politics was marred by sabotage, lies, and the undermining of the constituency leadership on a consistent role. Consistently. He undermined he proceeded with his first hellish behavior was to start making worries with Ronnie Thwaites. And boy, did he make worries with Ronnie Thwaites. He caused Ronnie Thwaites a whole heap of angst down there. If Ronnie wasn't a white man and a lawyer, I don't think he would have been able to stand up to him the way he behaved down there. And his behavior, Lawrence Rowe, was left unchecked and undealt with by various regional leadership. Those things would come to management meeting and they would all talk around it, and they kept passing on the problem to individual people. We're going to send a team down there, you're going to meet with this, you're going to meet with that person, not calling their names because there were various persons that it was passed on to for them to deal with. None of them couldn't deal with it because nobody don't want to deal with it. Nobody don't want to say to the man where I disrupt the constituency, man, go sit your ass down and leave the constituency alone, go contribute in this kind of way. And if you're not going to contribute in this kind of way, you ought to step aside. But what he did, while the regional leadership was passing the baton to various people to deal with it, Lawrence Rowe did was build a little crew. Some strong PMP was in that crew, some still is, and there were other people who, not so much strong PMP, but people who want to be a part of the process and felt that this is a chance for them. Because, people just like opposition. People who don't feel like they're a part of an organization will willingly join the opposition. And that's what happened in Central Kingston, Ronnie Thwaites. Because there were people who felt like they weren't a part of the organization. So when Lawrence would start going with him antics and lift up him frack tail and go on with all kinds of something and swing him and them and fling off him wig and go out peer things, there are people who join him because those people felt left out. And that's a natural progression of how things, how opposition become potent, So the regional leadership kept passing the problem until it became unmanageable. And then them finally just bolt and left Central Kingston on them own. So basically the constituency leadership and was up against Lawrence and the late Joseph Knight and some other riffraffs and them who joined with them to make life miserable as possible for the leadership of Central Kingston. And Central Kingston, and even some of those who are opposing him now, Lawrence Rowe, were a part of that initial opposition that was beating down on Ronnie Thwaites and the leadership of Central Kingston. Now, I am not one to beat up opposition to leadership. There should always be an active opposition to some things in leadership, at any level. But that should also be constructive and should also be instructive in terms of how we proceed, and not just to beat it down for power, which was what Lawrence Rowe was always about. Not to lift it up, but to beat it down for him to get the power, and that's all there was. So finally, Central Kingston was left to mired into a cesspool of narcissism and sabotage and threats to people's lives and deceit and manipulation, all of that by this nasty, disgusting fellow named Lawrence Rowe. And when I tell you that the fellow is nasty and disgusting, I want you to multiply that by 20. No, don't do that. Multiply that by 100, and you know what I'm talking about. Because all of you have had such a fellow to deal with. And so he stepped in with a vengeance when Victor Cummings left. Victor, because it's Victor, I think, brought him into the leadership, into the working operations of the constituency. And then when Victor left, him just stepped in with a vengeance, because his first and initial fight was started out with the fact that Victor lost to Ronnie Thwaites, which was a fair competition, and I supported Victor. I did. I supported Victor, and Ronnie Thwaites won fair and square. The voting took place at party headquarters. I was there that day. I was one of Victor's agents, and it was a fair process. They all agreed on what the voters list is. It was a smooth and fair process, and Thwaites won, and Victor left. Lawrence Rowe picked that up and added to that, and you and I just know it just got worse from there. And as I said, he has a support group that includes a few good PMP, But mostly people who has no influence with voters are no influence in communities. These people are just people who hang out with him for one reason or the other. Maybe some of them still pushing back at leadership and power, which is not a bad thing, as I say. But if it's just for the sake of gaining power, that's where it becomes a bad thing, because then all suffers. Everything gets mashed down, and it will always continue like that. Because nobody's thinking of the organization, nobody's thinking of the party, nobody's thinking of the country. Them thinking about themselves, what they will get if this man get in, what they will get if that man get in. And that is all it is. So most of the people that supported Lawrence, who I gather, don't have much influence with voters, and many of them can't really go talk to no voters. The people with the influence in the constituency, quite a few, and I'm not going to call anybody name, but there are a lot of people in the constituency with a lot of influence, and most of those people not supporting Lawrence Rowe, whether openly or covertly, them not supporting him. And he has taken it upon himself to actually make enemies out of quite a few of them. Those who have influence, enormous influence in the constituency. They are now his arch enemies, and he's not doing anything to roll that back. And in all honesty, I don't think there's much him can do to roll that back. There are people who just know what he is, know who he is, and know that him can't be trusted. And that is another thing. One of the initial problems that led to where the PMP is now, and how Mark Golding is still being still at where he was, 12.1%. No matter what Dan said, Mark is still at 12.1%. And one of the underlying reasons why it is still that is simply a matter of trust. When you have done everything to erode trust, when you say one thing and do another, when you say you're going to do something and then you change your mind without even having a discussion about it, then you develop a low level of trust. So people don't believe what you say anymore. And that is one of the things that destroyed Mark Golding in the beginning. So it is irreversible now, and it can't be caught now, because him have a high, there's a very low tolerance of trust where he is concerned. People don't trust him words, people don't trust what he says, and that is from the beginning. And now, it's almost at the end, and it's just too late to do that. Lawrence Rowe's, some of Lawrence Rowe's sins, and I'm just trying to put it in a nice way when I say sins, because it really don't measure up to sins, because all of us sin. All of us do something that the good Lord said we should not do. And the thing that the good Lord said that we should not do, we are unable to carry it out most of the time, particularly the part that says, love thy neighbor as thyself. I mean, it's the only commandment that I struggle with. I want to. I'm trying. It is difficult. Trust me. It is. It is a whole liberal idea to love your neighbor as yourself. And it would be a moment of rejoicing to get up in the morning and actually love my neighbors as how I love myself. But it's difficult. And so when I use in sins, I am using it in a very conservative kind of way to say that some of his sins are not only what a disgusting person, and I'm not going to repeat some of the things he has done in that constituency, some of the things he has done to some individuals, some of the things that he has said. And I can't repeat those things. I can, but I don't want to. I took a decision that I'm not going to repeat some of those things. What I'm going to repeat to you is what he did before and during and after the general elections of 2020. He was a main man, a main linchpin in the plot to make sure the PMP lose the 2020 elections. Dayton single, and him work mostly for Angela. He was Angela's wingman. And while Dayton provided the money, it's Angela that provides the information and the modus operandi and the things that he should do. And Angela told him that she don't care what he does. He must do everything in his power to make sure that Imani does not win that seat. And I know I'm not going to jump up and say, a lie. Well, I'm prepared for that. But I will repeat it, whether you believe it, yes or no, that this is the truth. Angela instructed him, Lawrence Rowe, that he must do everything in his power to ensure that Imani does not win. Because Angela is the same thing like Bunting. Them no different. She just have on a skirt. That's it. No different, you know. And Angela wanted herself, she still does, I think, she has always wanted to eliminate people who she think poses a threat to her elevation to whatever position or power that she is seeking. And you know, Damian Crawford, Imani Duncan, of course, the wonderful Lisa Hanna, those are people who are a threat to her, because those people are brighter, smarter, have better teeth, them hair look better, and them clothes them look better. At least me not put her in a clothes and a look better and hair better and teeth better category with Lisa Anna. I will not do that to Lisa. I'm not putting her in that category. But that is her thing. That has always been her thing. To eliminate the competition, so to speak. Kind of a mafia, bad mafia kind of way, where the mafia guy who wants to eliminate the competition always end up getting dead. Because the mafia do believe that competition is healthy, just that the whole of just need to meet and decide who going to take East Brooklyn and who going over to Queens and who going down to the south to the southern part of the next one name again, Bronx. So that's how the mafia operate. The mafia operates is that all right? Who going to take charge of the wharf? Who in charge of bringing in and who in charge of taking out. That's how the mafia operates. So she's way nastier and more disgusting and don't operate by any kind of rules of the game. She just wants to take out all the competition in the hope that one day she alone will be left standing, and then without a hope. God help us. And so Lawrence Rowe went about that with gusto. Went about it with gusto. And the two main places that he concentrated on was Central Kingston and West Rural St. Andrew. Because she considered Crystal Tomlinson a rising star herself. And Angela don't want them people there at the PMP. She want them people there to be gone. Lisa Hanna, Crystal Tomlinson, Damian Crawford, Imani Duncan Price. She want them the people that out of the way, because them the people that way above her. Them talk better, them look better, them just better in every way. They are more attractive on TV. They are more social media friendly. People like them. People don't like she. So she have to find ways and means to get them out of the game. And Lawrence Rowe's job was to undermine Imani Duncan Price and Crystal Tomlinson in West Rural. And boy went about it in a very, very, very meticulous and kind of way. It's like one of them serial killer who cut up people neatly. There was such a serial killer or two who kill people and just make sure them cut neatly, cut them up by them joints and pack them nice and neat. That's Lawrence Rowe. And I have seen pictures, videos, I have heard voice notes and recordings of conversations between Lawrence Rowe and the JLP operatives in Central Kingston and outside of Central Kingston, and between Lawrence Rowe and the Member of Parliament, Mr. Williams himself. And before I go into all of that, Lawrence Rowe has proceeded to make enemies all throughout the constituency. That's what part I was talking about before I go off on that tangent about Angela sending him out. In the resistance tour, when I went down to Central Kingston, people talked to me about the reasons why they did not vote. Because in Central Kingston, I was not exactly looking for the apparatus of the sabotage operation. And what I was looking for is why people did not vote. Because in my mind, I came to the conclusion that with all that Lawrence Rowe and him cronies them and Sean McGregor and the rest of them, with all that they did and all the damage that they could have done, I was saying to myself, there must have been some reasons why the PMP people did not show up for Imani. And to my surprise, as I discovered throughout all the constituencies that we went through, everywhere that we went, is that the sabotage operation was way more complex than, I or any one of us here thought that it was. Way, way more complex. It's not just a matter of loading up your mouth and say, oh, me not support her, me not vote for her, me not nothing with her. It wasn't just that. Of course, there was a young lady down in Westmoreland who came on social media and threw up the money in the air and sing the song, or what she get rid of doing vase because of bunting money and have done bunting dirty money, and she have it up in the air. She about all kind of things. We have that video, we have that picture, we saw it, we all saw it. So it was way, way more complex than that. It wasn't just one person that said, now vote for him, and then some people hear that. It also included actually talking to people and give them reasons why they should not vote for Imani, or why they. And it included that, and it included targeting the workers on election day, those workers that were deemed to be vulnerable and corruptible, And it is a sad thing when a candidate can't trust them workers, which is why I know that this election is not going to be as they think that it is going to be, because them do have no people, them have no workers, them are not committed workers, and those workers that they have and will get will be there just for the money, for whatever them going to get paid for, not to defend nothing, just for the money. And so one of Lawrence Rowe thing was to him stop the runners them in Central Kingston, took away them sheets of paper. Let me see a list. So which part you in charge of? But are you for run up a PD 26? Let me see a list. And the list of 40 and 50 had people. And you say, I tick off about 10 or 15 people who you go for already. And then Lawrence Rowe and Crony just look on the runner and say, but them people have voted already. All of them people have voted already. So I don't know which party you look for them people. Every one of them people are going to vote already. Go drink a beer. And that was the end of that. The runner stopped run. He assumed that everybody vote because Lawrence Rowe and Cronies them tell him that. Or, as in another case, one young fellow told me that he have the list and Lawrence tell him, say, boy, a PMP list, me have Miss Karen, it's a PMP list, and people go vote no matter what. Unfortunately for him, they did not. They did not go vote. Nobody, they had gone through a first canvass. Some people told me that the only time they had seen people was when they were going through a first canvass with Imani. But once that list was made and produced and distributed to runners, the runners themselves did not visit those voters to say, me have your name and what time if I come for you, that kind of thing that you would normally do in preparation for going for them. Because, when I was a runner, I get my list 2 days before. And I was making my list when I was a runner, when running was a good thing, a big thing. I was at indoor agent at one point, but running seemed exciting, so I became a runner one election. And I don't sit down with my list. I touch base with people. And me have your name, Dear man, you say tomorrow, and me have your name. What time? You, me attack. And which bar you going to tomorrow? All right, then. Me come for you. What time is a good time? Matter of fact, me now wait for a time. Me come to the bar, and me go drink and then go vote. That kind of thing runners need to do. So once they told him that list of PMP people and the people that always vote, him no bother. Him take Lawrence Rowe money where Dayton Campbell give him and Angela give him for distribute, and him shut down the running. And he was running up and down all over the constituency, stopping at people's yard, stopping at various places where know there's a good amount of PMP votes. He was also knocking head with the former councillor for the Almontown division, who Charmaine defeated, and he was vexed and sour-faced as well. So they were all knocking heads together to make sure Imani lose. One, to spite Imani, and two, to spite Charmaine because she go beat him. That's a councillor. He died. God bless his soul when I beat him up because he's dead. But yes, that's a fact. I have to say it. And so there was that. So it's a whole host of things that they did that came together and made the whole thing actually worked. And people stayed home, and people stayed away, and people get money, and him drive up and down, and him walk up and down, and boy, it was an elaborate thing. When I talk to a whole yard of PMP voters who tell me that, then matter go vote. because them see how things are run, and me say how things are run. I said to them, so what do you mean by you see how things are run? So I'm got some people that get this, and there's some people that get that. Some say, what? I don't get it. What do you mean some people? That's the nature of politics. But tell me what you mean, because it seemed to have been a big thing for the whole of vote. When there's some people get this and some people not get this, 1 and 2 people don't vote. But when a whole yard of 11 people or so don't vote, it must be bigger than that. So I said, tell me what exactly you mean. Did something big run and nobody in your yard not get nobody, not even one smaddy? No, but we hear everything. That's where it went. We hear everything. We hear back everything, how the money come and all the rest of it. Someone says, who telling it? You need to tell me who telling that, because me not believe you. I'm going to brand on the whole down as labor, right? And so on, sabotage the PMP. And you need to tell me who telling us that money run and who get it and who never get. I just said, we hear from everybody. I say everybody like who? We hear from Sean and we hear from Lawrence. And okay, that's it. That's where it went. That's where it went. So now all I have to do is dig down in the nitty-gritty. So tell me what, because I don't know about these things, so I need to know in order to make a good assessment. So tell me, what did Lawrence say? What did Riba say? What did the next one, I remember where him name, because him really not important in the scheme of things to me. What did they say that made you people not go out and vote? And they relate all the stories and they relate all what them hear. So it was an elaborate thing. Elaborate. And they went up to West Rural and did the same thing to Crystal Tomlinson. So Lawrence did his job, as was asked and instructed by Angela and Dayton Campbell. And he did his job. He did. He did it to the runners on election day operative. Then he did it in West Rural. And all of that he did. But the most egregious thing that Lawrence Rowe did is his blatant and stunning admission that he voted in 2020, but he did not vote for Imani. And he said it over and over and over again. He said it because he thought it was not a big deal. He said it because he needed to say it. He needed him masters, Angela and Dayton and Mark and Peter Bunting. He needed them to know that that is his level of commitment to them. To the fact that his level of commitment to them surpasses any loyalty to the PMP or to Jamaica. So he repeated it over and over again. Yeah, I voted. But I didn't support Imani. I did not vote for her. And I voted. He particularly liked it very much to repeat that section. I voted. But I did not vote for Imani. No. But I voted. So when a man says something like that, then you have an obligation to check some things. First, you need to check if him actually coming to come vote, and he did. Second, you needed to check if there was a third party candidate, because I can relate to a person say, I don't support this PMP candidate, and I really want to exercise my franchise as a voter. I want to take it serious because, Norman Manley fought for it, and Paul Bogle and George William Gordon died for it. I want to exercise that franchise. So this independent candidate who don't have a prayer in hell of winning, I am going to give him or her my vote. I can relate to that. So then you check if there was an independent candidate. No, there was none. Not in Central Kingston. There was no independent candidate in Central Kingston. Then you have to check the box that he votes in and to see if there were any spoil ballots of any significance. There was none. None. So Lawrence Rowe went into the polling station and voted for the JLP candidate, and he wanted us all to know that he did. He wanted him not ashamed of it. He is not ashamed of it. Him is not a voter who switches, because a voter can switch from one party to the next on any given election, An ordinary voter can't say, me I try the man here, or me I try the man, which is a really dunce thing by voters. Them tend to do that regularly and it don't work out for them. It's not a good thing for them to do, but them do it, is them right. But him is not. Him is a PMP operative who spent time in the constituency beating up Ronnie Thwaites and everybody because he want power. He want to be MP. He want a seat. And he spends all his time doing all of that. And It is so it can't go on. You can't say it's a simple thing. You just can't relegate it to a simple matter that him did not vote for the PNP candidate. He voted, and him tell everybody that him voted, and he did not vote for Imani. He voted for Mr. Williams. And you tell me his behavior. That's what he did. The most egregious act yet. And I know this is taking a little longer than the first one. I knew that this one would, because there's no way to go this one in 15-20 minutes. I want to do the rest of them. I will go lower, but that's what he did. His behavior during the local government elections is even more strange, because after he became the candidate, then we have a local government elections, and every candidate looking to get the most popular and the most attractive people to walk with them. So everybody want Lisa Hanna, everybody want Damian Crawford to come walk with them, and a few other, attractive people in the party, people who voters look up to and have respect for. Yeah. They want them people there. So Charmian get Lisa Hanna to come walk with her, and the boy Lawrence Rowe, who is the sitting candidate, make one stink about it. Now imagine this. He is a sitting candidate to go represent the PNP in a general election. And Lisa Hanna come for walk with Charmian. And all he did was walk around and did him same old stick. Walk around and cock up him tail and flash him head and cock up him head and go on with all kind of girl behavior about Lisa coming to walk with Charmian. He never think Lisa should come at all. Never think so. In support of one of his councillors. Well, and I won't go much further with this, 2-3 more minutes. In what he did in the 2020 election, Sabotage, and then admitted that he did not vote for the PNP candidate, is enough for the PNP voters to know that this is not a guy that you can trust. Voting is an emotional act. I know it is. But it is also an intellectual act where you have to consider, if you want a traitor to lead you, you want to send a traitor in Parliament to represent the people of Central Kingston, Norman Manley's seat, Ralph Brown's seat, Ronnie Thwaite's seat. That's who you want to send, a low-level traitor. Not even a high-level traitor, a low-level traitor who did not vote for the candidate that the people choose. Quarreling with the sitting councillor about bringing in the most popular face that the PNP have, the face with the most integrity that the PNP have right now, which not them we have for very long. The face with the most integrity. Because the PNP don't have much face with integrity, when you see the word them, the word them cock up them ass, bend over them ass, go down upon them knee, do all kind of things to be close to these people and to get the position where they want. Them have the integrity. And Lisa Hanna went to walk with the councillor. And that was his last act of treachery to the people of Central Kingston. So this is to the people of Central Kingston. And I need to think long and hard about this. As I said, these videos are not intended to tell you who to vote for. I will not infringe myself on your God-given right, your democratic right to go vote for who you want. My intention is to make you think about it. My intention is to make you understand that it's not just about voting for somebody in our color. It's about your future. It's about your children's future and what you want to teach your children. And if you should go out and vote for this guy, everything that I say about him would go the same way for you if you would vote for him. Because if he's that person and you feel that you need to go vote for that person, then it says the same thing about you. It does. Your association with that vote for that person says the same thing about you. as an individual, and it would be clear that you don't give a rat's ass about integrity. You don't give a rat's ass about honor and decency, yeah? And commitment and being noble and love of party and love of country. It would mean that you don't believe those things, just like him don't believe those things. It would mean that whatever he did to gain this power, you support that if you go vote for him. It means that you believe that, yes, it is right that him did all of that to gain this power. And that would be a sad thing, not only for our democracy, but certainly for Central Kingston, for the PMP, and for Jamaica. I say to you, voters of Central Kingston, think long and hard about this. For the first time in your lives as voters, think long and hard about this vote. And when the excitement start, and the knives start, and over PMP shirt and the PMP hat and the money start, still think about all of this. Who you want to represent in the parliament? You want a traitor, a little dirty, nasty, disgusting narcissist, or you want a proper person with integrity, somebody who your children can look up to, somebody who you can tell your children, say, I voted for this person because of this, and teach them something. Think about it. Thank you all for listening to my rant. I'm sorry that it took so long, but this needed that. So God bless you all. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe. Continue to keep your children safe.